What up, friends? We are back here with another edition of The Drive, post-major championship edition, elevated field this week at the Travelers in Connecticut. A course we are all familiar with. Man, a bit of a major hangover for myself, Andy. I thought I had a moment all through the weekend. I thought Victor would cross the line for me, but then on Sunday, I had a moment late where it was going to be Ty Hatton and
Yeah.
my future, that things got so crazy it was gonna all fall right. I thought I was in for a Hatton, Bobby Mack something, and boom, boom, JJ hits the putts. Magic even on 18 after that drive on 17. He had more questions to the test than everyone else. I mean, he failed a couple segments like everyone, but failed less segments, I guess, overall. I don't know what I'm saying. He hit the fairway, he hit the green, he hit the putts. Rory, Scotty, JJ Spawn had the major role.
Yeah. Yeah. I was tremendously heavy on Bobby Mack, so I share in your dismay. Um I, I think it was a really I mean, this is what I would say about the golf course. Um I thought it was a great test of skill. I thought the right player won. I thought the best player won. Statistically, Data Golf does a great job with this. It did separate the best players. Were there moments in the restart after it had rained and was pouring rain where I felt like it maybe borderline was a little goofy? Yeah. Um, but at the end of the day, if you don't like golf courses with extremely thick rough, then you should be protesting and picketing with signs at the USGA, the PGA Tour, and the PGA of America for a rollback because the modern US Open, especially a course like Oakmont where the members care so much about protecting par, if you want to protect par and have a winning score over par in the modern era with what technology is what it is today, you have to get crazy. This is what you have to do. You have to have rough this thick. You have to have greens this fast if you want to have the winning score be over par. If you don't care about what the winning score is in relation to par, then whatever. But if you want the winning score to be over par, then this is what they have to do. And if you don't like that, then roll the ball back.
So I agree with everything you said. We are both in full agreement on our opinion on the rollback. And look what they had, like you said, they had to have rough that looked like it was grown in a lab,
Yeah,
essentially to get these guys to flirt with even par, right? Like
yeah,
that is the level they had to take. Landing zones that are just so unnatural for the current ball flights of these players, and rough and greens running at 15.
yeah,
It is the cabal of big golf manufacturers that have gotten us
yeah,
here.
yeah, big
We
time.
are in the steroid equipment era. I believe, much like people look at a generation of baseball with an asterisk, I believe history will look at the era for which we are currently talking about and have been in for a couple years as a steroid equipment era. That's
Yeah,
how I believe history will look at this. But you mentioned a name, and we'll move on quickly. I trust Mike Wan. I watched his press
yeah,
conference last week.
yeah, he's good.
They all better get in line because he's moving. Whether
Yeah,
the players, like other bodies, they like this guy seems like a guy who is committed to what he is saying. And yeah, the modern player might gripe, but hey, they're all a bunch of pampered expletives anyway, for the most part. We move on. More free money, no cuts, not money for us, money for the pampered ones. It is the Travelers. We're off to Connecticut. We've been here a ton, Andy, so we're pretty familiar with what sort of winning score we're going to ask for. You're going to have to need to make birdies, but tell us a little bit of the player profile you want to be attacking this week.
yeah, Jeff, we are back to wedges and putting. We are back to short positional Pete dye. We are back to accuracy over distance. I mean, very similar to a Harbor Town, or a Sedgefield, or an easier version of TPC Sawgrass. I don't know if you remember TPC Potomac, the once Wells Fargo slash now Truist venue. But it's a very easy, straightforward, comfortable PGA Tour setup. They made a bunch of changes to the golf course in 2024. It did absolutely nothing. It was not money well spent. And we're going to see similarly. Maybe a little firmer conditions than what we saw last year, but 20 under par, wedges and putting, you know the drill.
Know the drill. Last year, we've had a lot of some heartbreak finishes so far last few weeks. Reminds me of one last year with that Tom Kim playoff loss here to who else? Scotty Scheffler. Scotty, I'm seeing 3-1 right now on the odds checker grid. You could say that's a little bit better than you could have bet him at an event that suited him way less a week ago. So in like the weekly Scotty value algo, maybe if this is your thing. I don't think it's your thing, Andy, because I think you might want to build something. But moving a little back, it's Rory at 14, Xander at 16. That's all there is under 20. If you have an opinion on those, certainly give it to us. I've done something I don't really ever do. I have bet my guy, Meghan Markle Morikawa,
Wow.
sourpuss himself. Like
Yeah.
a lot of us, though, Andy, I am a total apologist for getting your ass whipped last week. I do not care. I
Yeah.
do not care what you scored. If something got the better of you, like it doesn't even register, or I'll register it how I want because I'm going to
Yeah.
talk out of both sides of my mouth. Because, like everyone, I'm seeing the numbers that Morikawa was putting up last week, the tee to green, the approach, the around the green, even solid, but he lost almost 9 strokes putting, which is ungodly, even for a sketchy putter like him. But it is a plotter's golf course. I am paying for the high end version of the Connecticut skill set. Like I'm going to the nice restaurant of the skill set. There are cheaper versions down the board. Your friend Bud Cauley, your Brian Harmons, have at it. I'm paying up for Colin Morikawa. We're probably flirting at close to 700, 650 days without the win,
Yeah.
600, whatever it is. I'm calling it this week. Morikawa off the mat. That ball striking comes over, and we're going to win a party.
Yeah, no, I see it. He's on my short list. I haven't made the bet yet. Some smart people I know have made the bet. Um, he's outside of Scotty, he's the best iron player in the world, and this is a golf course where you could lift and separate with your iron. So, I condone the bet. I co-sign the bet. I haven't made the bet yet, but Um, I have made a move. I've only actually made one bet to be honest with you, but I'm circling around a couple guys in the mid range that I can talk about.
So let's firstly like an opinion on the top of the board if you had to do something at the top this week.
I think it's a week that Scotty gets back on
Yeah.
track, to be honest with you.
I mean he came in what, 7th place with his C game last week on a
Right.
course that obviously doesn't, some certain things about US Open setups and inconsistencies and wild card elements that don't really work to his strength of dominating when he knows how things are going to react. Yeah, I'm afraid to bet into anything, but I don't want to go to without markets when I'm betting this high on the board with
Yeah,
Collins, so I'm in.
understandable. I'm probably not betting the without markets either. I'm just gonna have quite a bit of him in DFS. But
Who's the
the,
bet?
the, I would say the guy. So I bet Russell Henley last
Okay.
night at 55 to 1. I just thought that number was 20 points too high. That was
That
a
would have been on DraftKings?
DraftKings.
Yeah.
That was a bad number. I think he got hit down to like 40, 30. That sounds about right to me. I would have made him around 33 to 1. Um, and I just
He's
short
40-1
positional.
right now. I'm seeing opening up the
Yeah,
odds checker grid here. So I mean, I did not see the early 50s and I've been tempted by the 40s. So I don't think the
yeah.
40s a bad play.
Yeah, he was 60 for a second on FanDuel early this morning. That number got pulverized. But yeah, Henley for me at 55. And then the other three guys that I'm swimming around, very popular names, I would imagine this week, very popular names for me over the course of 2025. Keegan Bradley, Daniel Berger, Aaron Rye. Just going to the well with my dudes. And I think there's a perfect golf course for one of them to get over the hump and get on the board in 2025.
So I've made 2 bets this week. We've spoken about Morikawa. I've joined you on one of these here. I clipped a 75-1 this morning on Daniel Berger over
Yeah,
at Bet three
amazing number. I
over
wish
at
I
Bet
was awake early
365.
enough. Yeah,
He was like the flavor of the month a couple weeks ago,
yeah,
and now he's sort of fallen out of favor. Sure, whatever. Golf is fickle. I thought this is a great opportunity to step in on Berger on this course. I believe he won the first event out of COVID break, Andy, at this golf course. So good course history for Berger as well. And that was obviously a stacked field as everyone was roaring to go. If you did have to, bet into the poor man's version of that profile you so eloquently spoke about. Clearly Morikawa, the expensive one, a guy like Aaron Rye,
Yeah,
sort of like the mid
mid
tier.
tier.
Who are some other players that you,
Glover,
yeah,
Glover. Yeah, Glover. I don't mind JT Poston here either, but I really like Glover as a long shot. I don't mind Brian Harmon as a long shot, to be honest with you, but I would say Glover
Hoagie?
and Poston are probably my favorites down the board.
Seen a little love for Hoagie.
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind that either.
Here, listen, I mean, geez, we just had a huge long shot win the US Open. We're gonna get a long shot at the elevated out of it. It's possible. I mean, this course does, like you said, could sort of turn into a wedge putting fest, and that I think narrows the gap between some of the high end players. Should be a fun week out at the Travelers. It's always an enjoyable watch. After this one, we're in Detroit. It's like the John Deere, and then another major, which they stack on top of each other. Andy, I
I
got to
know.
tell you, I'm not a fan of this feeling of like the majors, like just feeling right on top of one another.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. It's the Open Championship will be here before we know it.
And the Scottish Open before that, which will probably be the next time we see some of the high end players. We're going to take some time off before that next major. Andy and I will not be. We'll be breaking down Detroit. We'll be breaking down the John Deere here at Odds Checker. And not all odds are created equal. And if you're not comparing, you could be leaving money on the table. Odds Checker is your one-stop shop for comparison and data-driven analysis across every major sport. They do the research so you can bet smarter and win bigger. Visit oddschecker.com today and get in on it. Friends, let's hope to hit a winner in Hartford. For Andy, I'm Geoff Fienberg. Smash that like. Thank you, Odds Checker. We'll be back next week.